Welcome back everybody to another weekly comic book review. We got 7 comic books that I read last week. Not a bad week for comic books by any means, but we're gonna rank them from what I recommend the most to maybe what I recommend the least. All right, let's get into it, starting off with some heat from Image Comics. We're taking everyone down with us. Issue number 2, just a really surprising series, man. If you are into that show Archer back in the day, that adult animated series Archer, kind of like the spy action sort of thing. This series gives me a lot of kind of Archer vibes. So if you're into like the humor that you expect from Matthew Rosenberg, you'll definitely find that in this series. This character Annalise, she's the daughter of this really famous spy, and this guy might be the bad guy, but he's being chased after by this kind of like opposing spy organization. So in this issue, we get introduced to a lot of the other characters in this story. Like this guy's a character right here. So yeah, just really ton of humor, a ton of really cool action, a really cool concept, sci-fi, spy sort of story, man. I'm loving it a lot. We're taking everyone down with us. It's definitely a series not to miss out from Image Comics. Matthew Rosenberg, Landini with that awesome art. Really like that colorful, poppy kind of artwork they got going. Next up, let's talk about You'll Do Bad Things, also from Image Comics. This one's from Tyler Boss though, so Matthew Rosenberg, Tyler Boss duo. Maybe not some more, they're splitting off doing their own stuff, but we got this Tyler Boss written series here. It's a crime and noir series. If you're into that, you guys know I'm into that, so I'm all over this one. With artwork from Turtulici. So in this story, right, we have a writer, a novelist from back in the day, crime and noir novelist, but every time he puts pen to the paper, every time he writes a story, that story ends up happening in real life. So if someone dies in the story, it looks like someone dies in real life. So you see like this string of serial killer murders going on, and this guy is kind of the cause of it, but he doesn't know. But at the very end of this issue, we get this really excellent chase scene with the killer. Of course, he's got that like kind of zip up ski mask. He's chasing our writer here, and we get this really excellent, some excellent like slasher horror chase scenes. You guys see here how Turtulici kind of bends the perspective. Really cool stuff, man. So really like what they're doing here. Just gives you kind of a sense of like anxiety inducing just looking at this art. So really excellent stuff. You'll Do Bad Things. Really loving this series, man. So those are 2 from Image Comics, but let's jump over to the big 2 with Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 16. You guys know I'm loving this Jonathan Hickman written series with art from Kaketo. In this one, man, we get a ton of revelations. So not last issue, because that was like the road trip issue, but two issues ago, we had that, crazy character death. We find out that maybe it wasn't, maybe it was all an illusion. It wasn't quite as it seemed. We get some interesting stuff with Gwen Stacy. She's kind of in like this Mysterio legion that's passed down from generation to generation. So she's like a member of this like Mysterio kind of cult. It turns out that she kind of faked the death of her husband. Crazy twists, and I'm just loving that Kaketo artwork as I was showing you guys there. Some really excellent stuff. I'm just loving this Ultimate Spider-Man series. It might be my favorite series coming out of Marvel, unless you count the Ultimates nowadays. The Ultimates is pretty sick from Dennis Camp, but close second at least. It's like they're neck and neck for sure. So yeah, you guys are probably already reading this Ultimate Spider-Man series, but it's definitely one I recommend. Back over to Image Comics, because we're talking about the Seasons, Rick Remender written series here with Paul Azaceta on the art, and I'm loving the artwork, dude. So in this one, we get kind of a behind the scenes, like the lore about kind of what's happening in this story, the origin of this kind of clown circus that's come to town. They're actually evil. You don't want anything to do with this clown carnival, man. So we have one of the sisters here trying to warn, like, hey, don't go in there. But it seems like she's just waltzing right in. And then it turns out that maybe the curse has been passed to her sister. So pretty brutal stuff here. Not my favorite issue of the series by any means, but really great artwork all throughout. I mean, just look at it as I'm, flipping through the pages here. Just crazy stuff. But yeah, more of like kind of a setup issue in my opinion, kind of explaining like the rules and the lore and the origin of this kind of curse that's going on. So yeah, the Seasons. Mateus Lopez also on the color. I want to shout that out. What a legend there. Excellent stuff. definitely a series I'm enjoying from Image Comics. Rick Remender written, of course. Next up, we've got The Question all along the Watchtower. Not the best week for DC Comics, I will admit. So this was the finale to this little mini series. So we have The Question, Renee Montoya. She's fighting, Cyborg Superman and the Eradicator as they're trying to take over the Watchtower. So overall, I will say that this series, maybe it kind of, left a little bit to be desired in terms of, at the start, I thought it'd be kind of like a detective sort of story, but it did get kind of bombastic and explosive, kind of like, not over the top, but, the last couple issues have been kind of, taking it to that next level when I thought it was going to be kind of more of a question, detective type of series. The first couple issues kind of gave off that vibe, but not disappointed by the way it ended by any means. I thought it was a very satisfying ending. It's just overall, I feel like the series kind of started stronger than it ended, but great artwork throughout. We get a lot of different characters in play, and Renee Montoya is just such an excellent character. One of my favorite out of DC for sure, right? So it's excellent seeing her just kind of leading her own series. And you see down here, not the end. Renee Montoya's adventures continue in Justice League Unlimited and across the DC universe. So, hopefully this team gets another crack at a Renee Montoya Question series, man, because I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, congrats on, an excellent series here. Definitely one to check out in collected edition, or, if it's free with your library, you got DC Universe Infinite, something like that, definitely check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. Really fun series here with The Question. Moving right along, we've got two more. The next two are DC. So we have the Batman Superman World's Finest. This is the annual for the year, but this is also We Are Yesterday Part 3. So a really complex feeling with this We Are Yesterday sort of storyline so far. It's kind of like a whatever story, right? It's Gorilla Grodd has been kind of, he had his power switch with Martian Manhunter, I believe, right? So he has the powers of Martian Manhunter, I think, if I remember correctly. It's been a weird couple of issues in this series recently, but so Gorilla Grodd has all these powers. He's been traveling through time, kind of collecting the kind of Legion of Doom members all throughout time, and he's going to try to launch an attack on the Watchtower. So pretty like basic story there, but I will say I do appreciate how it's kind of using a lot of different disparate threads that Mark Waid has kind of set up throughout all his series for the last couple of years. It's kind of like wrapping things up a little bit, kind of satisfyingly concluding a lot of those threads that he's been kind of left out there. Excellent artwork throughout. Just like a fun issue. I mean, it's not anything that maybe I would recommend, like, oh, you got to pick up this Batman Superman World's Finest annual, right? It really is just like a continuation of this We Are Legends story. We Are Yesterday story, not We Are Legends. But yeah, man. And then at the very end, we get a cool John Stewart story. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, nothing too crazy going on with this event here. If you're reading the event, you're reading the event. If you're not, maybe you can skip it. Not something that's totally necessary to read. Last issue this week, we're talking about Detective Comics, the annual for the year. It doesn't have anything to do with the current Detective Comics story. These are just kind of its own Batman little glimpses. But I do like how this entire thing was like all, or maybe the first two stories were all one story done by different creative teams. Actually, maybe it was the first three stories. And then the last one is kind of a fun story about this sixth grader going on a little detective mission with Batman. So that was a fun one. But the first couple of stories, it's cool that they all kind of link together. Different creative teams, different artists jumping on. Pretty good mystery throughout. So yeah, it was just like a nice like one-shot sort of Batman mystery. He goes over to England for a little bit, and you get this really, really cool and interesting sort of art style here. As you guys are seeing as I'm scrolling through. And then it jumps into Act 3 where you get a different creative team jumping on. So pretty fun story all throughout, nothing too crazy. Don't run out to your local comic store and you don't have to pick this up by any means, but it's fun for those that are enjoying the Detective Comics. And if you're looking for a more detective sort of Batman story, this one's for you. Nothing crazy by any means, but that's what we got for this week of New Comics, the weekly comic book review. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your pick of the week is in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and read more comics.